Hi, friends. Earlier, we talked about all the ways that second graders grow like beanstalks. You have later bedtimes, you get to watch new shows, and reading too has changed. You've grown as readers already. Now, you each have books that you're reading all by yourself. You get to choose what you want to read. You get to choose how you read. Your reading muscles will grow as you read longer, harder books. Remember, in this 1 year, you're going to go from reading books like this to something like this. Isn't that amazing? But it's important that during your reading time, you are choosing just right books. Not too easy, not too hard, but just right. Something that challenges you. The thing is, though, you don't just grow automatically. You have to work to grow. Sometimes reading is not so easy. You have to roll up your sleeves and say, I can do this, and get to work. So the books that you're choosing now should give you the chance to practice reading longer books. And all that practicing will help you grow from Katie Woo all the way up to something like Julian's World. Here's the thing though, friends. When you read longer books, you also end up reading longer words. Really. You're going to find words like these in your books. So if I looked at this one, it says, whipping. What else is in here? Shoulder, right there. Catalogs. Finally. Afternoon. So all kinds of longer words that are in these longer books. Let's see. Jerked heavily like a long white snake. Sorry, friends, I'm just making sure that I'm saying everything I need to say. So today I want to teach you that when second grade readers come to a tricky word, they don't just say, help me, help me. Instead, second grade readers roll up their sleeves and get to work. They draw on everything they already know to help them figure out that hard word. So readers, for the whole upcoming several lessons in our unit, you will learn about tackling tricky words. But before I can teach you new ways to figure out tricky words, I need to know what you already know. And so right now, I'm going to hit the pause button and we're going to chat real quick about ways that you know to solve tricky words. All right, friends, that was a really cool conversation. So it turns out that you already know a lot of things that you can do when you encounter hard words. So this is a list that I have made. When words are tricky, you roll up your sleeves. And this has a lot of the things that I heard you say, maybe some others that I didn't hear you say. Are you ready to put your words strategies to good work? I hope so. So, let's check this out. When words are tricky, roll up your sleeves. So rolling up your sleeves just means let's get to work, friends. So one thing that I heard you say is check the picture and think about what would make sense. So if I'm reading a story that looks like this, I don't think this is a story about summertime or going to Disneyland. So making sure that it makes sense. Use what's happening in the story. So if this story is about Katie Woo being sick, I know that I'm probably not going to read about her going skiing or bicycle riding. So I need to make sure to use what's in the story and think about what that word might be. you can look through the whole word part by part. So break it into chunks. So this word tambourine, tambourine, tambourine. And I know that you guys use that one a lot already. I've heard it. Another one, look for a word inside a word. So there are parts of words that you already know. Welcome. Come is in welcome. Pill has ill in it. Tick has tickle. And there are even parts of words that we know that aren't words, but we still know. That means ol or ick or the O-M-E, So there are parts that we know even inside. Look at inside. Inside, isn't that amazing? For has or in it. So does word. That is pretty amazing. Or look at this one, ook. That's not a word, but it's definitely a chunk that I know. Don't give up. Try something. Take a guess. So sometimes you might not think of one of these strategies, but it's still a good idea to take a guess. All right, so readers, as we read a little bit more of Katie Woo Has the Flu, we're going to stop and use some of these strategies today in our reading. Are you ready to help me, friends? I sure hope so. And if you're wondering what's under here, oh boy, just you wait. There's more to learn at a later date. That rhymed. Okay, so last we left Katie, she was still sick, even though all these people did nice things for her. Later, Jojo called Katie. I missed you today. Miss Winkle says it's not the same without you. Thanks, Katie. Will somebody tell me what they think the word might be? Just go ahead and whisper that word into your microphone right now. Thanks, Katie. Readers, I heard so many good ideas. Lots of you said that one way to solve this word is to use what's happening in the story to think about what would make sense here. So let's do that. Thanks, Katie. What makes sense? The word's quotation marks tell me that this character is saying something. That means that the covered word is a word that means how she says the word thanks. That helps us make a smarter guess, doesn't it? Let's see, I guess I could read, thanks, Katie said, or maybe thanks, Katie replied, or because she's sick, it could read, thanks, Katie whimpered, or maybe, thanks, Katie croaked. Is it enough to think only about what might make sense? No way. What should we do next? We should look at the word carefully and figure it out, shouldn't we? So let's look at this whole word at just the front of it. Croaked. Ribbit. Is it croaked? Ribbit, Jojo croaked. And when I read after it, it told me that I was definitely correct. Ribbit, Jojo croaked back. Katie smiled. We got it, you guys. Thank you for helping me. Okay, so let's read on until we reach another tricky word. And when that happens, I want you to really roll up your sleeves and get to work using your strategies. Roll them up with me. Here we go. Then Pedro called. He told Katie, when I broke my leg, everyone wrote funny things on my cast. Lucky you, said Katie. There is no cast with the flu. She drew a picture of everyone writing their names on her arms. That would tickle, Katie. Ooh, there's a word under here. What word would make sense right there? So right now, we're saying, what would make sense? The next thing I'm going to ask myself is, what's happening in the story? Just like before, she's talking to her friend, so she could say what word? She could say croaked. Katie, there's got quotation marks around it, so she's saying it out loud. Katie said. We could say that. Katie whispered. Katie giggled. Katie decided. So now let's go ahead and look at this word bit by bit. Did anybody figure out what that word is? I see this chunk in here that I know. Dead. D. Dead. D. Sigh. Dead. Decided. That would tickle. Katie decided. Does that make sense? Yes. Does it help with what's happening in the story? Yes. And we looked through the word part by part and found parts of it that we did indeed know. Let's continue on. Katie took another little nap. When she woke up, she felt a lot better. Her mom brought her more soup and toast. Yay, soup, said Katie. Yay, toast. I'm starving. Sorry, I want to cover up the word that I picked. I actually have a couple words on this page. Oh, I'm being a sneaky teacher. Yay, soup, Katie said. Yay, toast, I'm starving. I'm feeling more like me, Katie said. It feels good to feel good. That night, Katie dreamed that her class sang a something back song to her. So she's dreaming that they sang a something back song to her. So what would make sense? I'm going to pause and ask you to tell me what you think would go there. We're going to use what happens in the story, and then we'll look at the word part by part and see if we can figure it out. I heard a lot of great ideas right there. Let's go ahead and look at this part by part. Ooh, look at that. Well, I know this part of the word. Come, that's a whole word. Her class sang a welcome back song to her. That makes sense, and it helps us understand what's happening in the story. And when we looked at the whole word, it makes sense. It sounds right. It looks right in the story. Everything happens for that one. Okay, I've got another one here. Miss Winkle played the something and did a happy dance. Okay, once again, I'm going to pause the show or pause the story and pause the video, and I want you to use these strategies to help you figure out what's happening in that part of the story. Miss Winkle played a something and did a happy dance. I really like how you guys looked at the picture, and some of you didn't know that word, but you definitely knew what it was that she was playing. So it made sense to you that she would play that instrument, right? Miss Winkle played the instrument and did a happy dance. What's happening in the story? Her teacher is playing an instrument and doing a happy dance. So now let's look through the word bit by bit and see if we've got it. How many of you said tambourine? I think that y'all need to do the smarty pants dance. Tam and een are both sounds that I know. A few days later, Katie went back to school. Her friends welcomed her with a song. Boo on the flu, they said. We missed you. I did too, sang Miss Winkle. Katie sang back, I feel like new. I feel like a new Katie Woo. And it was true. And look at that. We reached the end of the story. There's all kinds of little fun things that you can do with this story in there. From now on, Remember that you don't have to wait around for help. You can roll up those big kid sleeves and use what you know to figure out those tricky words in your book. Today when you read, I have something special for you to do. I want you to choose a place to sit so you are next to your study buddy or somebody who's a real person that you are with. When it's time for you, I want you to whisper your reading strategy to your study buddy when you get to a tough word. Thank you so much, friends. And I hope that when you get to a tricky word today, you roll up your sleeves and get to work.